Well, welcome to the last For the Region monthly meetup of 2024. Exciting to come together with people from across South West Wales, our network and colleagues and partners across the region for this final call of the year, just to share some updates and reflections. And today we're asking, what are the opportunities for us all to give something back and to make a positive impact in our communities across the region? And I can see from those on the call that we've got some inspiring examples already on the line of projects and initiatives and organisations who are all about giving something back. And hopefully you're all here to share your updates and announcements and tell us a little bit about your organisations and projects. Just to spend a little while thinking about how, as businesses and organisations and also as people, we can give back and make a positive difference. But that's the question that we're asking, really. What are the opportunities here in South West Wales for all of us to give something back and to make a positive impact where we live and across the region? So you can answer that from your own perspective or from the perspective of your organisation. What is your business doing? What are the opportunities for businesses? I'd love to hear some contributions. What are the opportunities to give something back, whether we're businesses or individuals? Gemma, I saw you waving at me. What would you like to share?
Hiya, thanks, Dawn. I was interested on our little chat that two of us were new in our roles. So I'm new to Business Wales, and Kelly is a new in a role in a private school. And we were both thinking that I've particularly come from a different sector. So I've been in third sector and now I'm in Business Wales. But it's building up those networks, isn't it? So that we can go out and use our existing knowledge of our communities and to build stronger links with the communities, I think, is what I'm doing. But I'm particularly interested in underrepresented groups as well. So thinking about, people look at Business Wales or perhaps a school and think, well, how are they embedded in the community? But we're a social enterprise and schools obviously part of the community, aren't they? And Adam, who's also doing brilliant work at Foothold Cymru. So yeah, but networking and building more links is I think that's my plan for the new year.
That's really on topic. Thanks so much, Gemma. Yeah, it is absolutely all about these kind of networks across our communities and across our region, and that's what these calls are all about. Yeah, good luck in your new role, and thanks for being part of this. Who else will share something about how we give back at this time of year?
I'm happy to share, but we talked a little bit about, one of the things I said was that actually at this time of year, one of the most important things for us is to give back to staff. You know, we've had a very incredibly busy year, and we have very stressful and busy periods here at Bevan Buckland, and speaking to other businesses and organisations as well. I think it's become more and more important to think about staff wellbeing at Christmas and think about what we can do to try and give staff at least a little bit of a stress-free period once a year, and some of those sorts of things. So so I think it's very important if we look after our staff, they look after the organisation. So I think Christmas is one of those times when you perhaps more consciously think about staff and the things that you can do for them.
Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear. Nice to share any practical examples of the sorts of things that you think make a difference.
Well, it's and this is the useful thing about this, because we quite often just nick ideas that other people are doing. But one of the things I mentioned, one of the things I have noticed, whether this is anecdotal, a lot more businesses are shutting down between Christmas and New Year and just giving their staff that time off. We've seen a real growth in that over the last. Certainly in the last year or two post-pandemic. So it's something we've shut down for a couple of days that we don't normally this year. And funnily enough, we were just having a discussion today that actually maybe we should just give staff the full Christmas period off. Seems to be one of the ways that where things are going.
Not every business can do that, but yeah, what a gift when you have a sort of block of time away from work, isn't it? And those things like blocking off the time between Christmas and New Year, and lots of businesses are kind of moving towards 4-day working weeks and all that sort of thing, aren't they? In terms of recognizing that actually we can give the gift of time back to staff, particularly at this sort of busy time of year. Who else will share something of how we as businesses or organisations or people are giving back, or what your organisation is doing? I'd love to hear from you. Amanda.
Hello. In our group, we were just talking about not so much from a business perspective, but from a personal perspective. And I suppose you could link it in with your business to do it. And that's people being on their own at Christmas. So whether it's elderly people or somebody that's lots of within their family, and just kind of reaching out to them, and the potential of people being on their own for Christmas Day as well. So if you have got room at your table, kind of offering, somebody else to join, really. And then also, there's a lot of carers out there that might be lonely. So I know there's a lady on my road that's got MS. So it's just maybe reaching out to them, not just for the sake of the individual that's unwell, but for the person that's caring for them year in, year out. So that was our thoughts.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. That sounds really great. How can we be there for those who haven't got a house full of people this year and make space at the table? Thank you for that. Who else would like to say anything? James.
So I was in the same group as Gus, so following on with a bit of the staff wellbeing theme. But so I'm from Central Ambulance Cymru. Naturally, there'll be a lot of our staff that are working on Christmas Day. So one of the things that we've decided to do as a charity is to make sure that all of our staff have Christmas dinner delivered on Christmas Day for those that are working, just to make it a little bit more enjoyable, and for the sacrifice of them being away from their families, basically. So that's something that we're doing. But more from a charity perspective, obviously, for us, the big thing is our charity Christmas appeal, which is all focused around our community responders this year. So it's just been a big push to try and make as many people aware of that, and to support us if they choose to do so, basically.
Such a vital service. Thanks for sharing, and great organisation to contribute to. And that ambulance service in rural areas really needs all the help it can get. Thank you for sharing, James. Rosie, I can see your hand is up. Then Kitty, I'll come to you.
Hello. I was kind of saying in my group that I wasn't quite sure of what to kind of say about, because I'm also fairly new to where I work. So I'm more or less learning about what people are able to do and offer, and this, that, and the other. I know that there's been people within the company that I work for who have donated gifts that they have received to companies. So like someone's been gifted some monitors before, so they decided to donate them to other companies in the area that they knew of and were quite well connected with. But also, as everyone's kind of speaking, I'm kind of coming up with more ideas of things that people are doing. So I know the company itself has kind of done this big thing of collecting a bunch of different goodies throughout the year, and we're doing like a raffle ticket system within work, so with all colleagues, where we're earning tickets to win a prize potentially for all the hard work that we've been putting in. So that's also something. But
great examples. Thanks, Rosie. Lovely to have you on the call, and thanks so much. Lovely examples. Thank you for sharing. And Kitty, what would you like to say?
Firstly, sorry, I couldn't join any of the breakout groups, but James, his case is really good. And what struck me is that James invited a few of us Have a Hub directors to his fundraising Christmas concert. And being in that, what struck me, obviously, was seeing a few of them wandering around at the back of the church in uniform. But it's really important that communities see the faces of people that are part of these things. I think to have that personal connection that James achieved in the Christmas concert, and he no doubt does loads of things all over the place, but I think what's missing, sometimes is we've just got all these names of things that do good and that are out there, but when people actually have that conversational, that they can just have that really close proximity to people, that brings it to life a lot more. I don't know if there's an answer to how to do that really, but I think that was interesting. Love the idea of the Christmas meals being delivered, and Rosie's point about, you know, goodies collected and a raffle thing for staff. But, you know, these things all take a lot of time to organize, and having that capacity in a system to think ahead and organize them is, I know, you know, something Haverhub's at full stretch. We have stopped, and we're all having a break apart from one person, I think, who's down on hours, but that feels like a massive relief, but it is also a saving on costs. So I think, you know, having a proper break could be sold to organizations, you know, as this is also a saving on your heating and, you know, staffing and things. But yeah, I think the personal touch is important. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think that was really interesting, actually, you know, the connections that we can have with local and regional charities and the people who run them and the volunteers that work for them and the people who are helped by them. And so, yeah, I guess it's a word out for, yeah, making connections and building relationships. And then that really helps us understand where our contributions are making a difference. And, you know, so much more rewarding in some ways to give to local charities and see the difference on our doorstep. Yeah, thanks, Vicky. Nice to see you. And Vicky, what would you like to share?
Yeah, we've got a dinner for people who don't normally get up for dinners at all, along with a conversation about preparing for the storms ahead. It's not a big deal, but it's nice to be able to do that, and just struggling now to find the right restaurant which is independent, which is fairly decent value, and then organising that, so which is a small thing.
Yeah, so from a group perspective, creating that opportunity for people to come together for a Christmas meal and a bit of togetherness at this time of year.
Yeah, but this is very much targeting people who aren't in the sort of going out for dinner category.
Yeah.
The For the Region network is a great way for people to reach out if they're looking for specific businesses and things. You know, because if you've got an independent business that you know has good social values and those sorts of things, I'm sure I could point you in the right direction. One, and then the other thing I was going to say, so something we do a lot here is we try to offer our skills to organisations. So we've got a lot of our staff who will sit on the boards of trustees of charities. You know, we're accountants, so obviously, you know, there's treasurers and some of those sorts of things. And I think for organisations that are, you know, it is a difficult environment to ask people to keep giving money and some of those sorts of things, but most businesses, if they have a skill that you need, will happily donate some of their time to that. So I think, and I think that is where, you know, the more traditional, right, we just pick a charity each year and we give some money to it. I think businesses want to be more physically involved with what they're doing. So I think on both sides, from the business point of view and those organisations that need volunteers or need specific skills or need specific help on projects, you know, and again, it's a great way for the region type network that has, you know, not-for-profit and for-profit organisations together to perhaps try and connect people.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Gus, isn't it? It's about that cross-sector networking where you've got organisations that have resources, getting together with organisations that need support or have ways that businesses can contribute. So that's what these calls are all about, an opportunity to speak up, and you never really know who is there in the room and who may be able to help, but it is about those local connections.
My name is Adam. I work at Football Cymru, and we've been a charity now since 1991, so kind of approaching 35 years now. But what we've been doing lately in the community is that a lot of the volunteers are now treated more as like staff members. And so out in the front of our building, we've had permission to redecorate the whole landscape because unfortunately we have a lot of knotweed growing in the back, and there's some things we can't really touch, and we have to get like through contractors and stuff. But the front of the building, in the new year, we're looking to revamp the whole building so that it's more welcoming to people who basically come to our charity. And we also have a community garden, and the funding has been stopped for that, but it's being handed over to the volunteers. So the volunteers can do basically what they want with it.
Yeah, great. I've been to Foothold Cymru. There's a lot of potential in that little area of land around where the building is near Llanelli, and you run so many valuable services out of the building. It'll be great to see it sort of get that facelift. And yeah, I appreciated your point there about treating organisations, volunteers as staff and valuing them in that way. And something that's really struck me recently in a number of charities and organisations we've been connecting with is what a huge service a charity provides to its volunteers. It's such a, I think maybe we just don't talk about it enough, the service to society that charities fulfil in creating volunteering opportunities, if I can put it that way, that there are so many people for whom their volunteering role is such an important part of their lives and really gives them a sense of purpose. And perhaps those are people who are a long way from actually getting a job, or perhaps they've retired and it's a way of addressing sort of isolation. But the opportunities that there are to volunteer for charities is such a huge role that charity shops and other organisations do fulfill. So that's been striking me recently. But yeah, the valuable contribution that volunteers can make who really care about the community or the organisation and give something back in that way. Who haven't we heard from that would like to just say something about how we can give back at this time of year across businesses or communities? Yes, please, from RCS Wales.
Hi, good afternoon. My name's Vanessa Trimble. I work for a company called RCS Wales. We're based in North Wales and Swansea. We have got offices in West Wales as well, and those are the regions that we cover. We're a wellbeing company, so we support businesses to keep their businesses thriving and their employees thriving in terms of supporting them for their wellbeing. So it's fabulous to hear about all the support that employees, directors and business owners are giving their staff, which is fantastic. We aim to do that throughout the course of the year. So chatting with businesses, providing free training and support around how they can enhance wellbeing in the workplace for individuals. And that might be through very simple things such as providing fresh fruit on a regular basis. Also maybe wellbeing hours. So what we do with businesses, we provide free consultation and say, how is wellbeing in your company and how might you think you can enhance it? And then talk about some of the suggestions and ideas that we've come across from the many various businesses that we work with.
It's nice to meet you. Thanks so much. And yeah, really important to give businesses a bit of time to consider it. I mean, as Kitty was mentioning earlier, it's often that we're all so busy in our organisations actually that having a plan in place to tackle staff wellbeing is a thing. So yeah, thank you.
And it's important because it's difficult to recruit. So retention, it's about keeping people, retention is a lot easier and a lot cheaper in many ways than recruiting. So where you can support individuals in terms of their wellbeing, that they feel supported and cared for and valued and validated, they're more likely to stay around in the company. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we never know what stresses people are under. People's lives are so busy and juggling so many responsibilities, as we've said. We never know what people are going through.
Absolutely. Yeah, indeed. Thank you.
Nice to talk to you. Thank you for that. And Zoe, what would you like to say?
I wanted to pick up on what Gus had said about skills, about giving back through skills or resources. When communities come together as businesses and people who care about a community and give things, whether that's for example, in Ammanford, the Ammanford Football Club wanted to create a wellbeing centre, and the whole community and businesses came together to make that happen. Somebody was like, "Oh, I've got an old shipping container. Oh, I've got an old kitchen." And then somebody was like, "Oh, well, we can pull that together. We've got old windows." And suddenly they create this absolutely fantastic hub. And then doctors and different people will give up their time to and it's how the community can come together, and that's not one person going, oh well, I'll donate a bit of money. That is the community coming together with bits and bobs that they have, including their skills, and really pulling something together that's meaningful for the community that will benefit themselves and their children and everything. So that's that's another thing that everyone can do right across the region.
Yeah, inspiring example, isn't it, where those kind of collaborations can happen. And one of the things that hopefully we're able to offer through the platform that is all of our different events and conversations is the sort of platform where those ideas can come together. But that needs to happen on a hyper-local level everywhere as well, isn't it? That sharing your ideas and sharing your resources, finding ways to bring local people and businesses together to have those sorts of discussions, and also linking into that social value piece. How can we create local collaborations to create a positive impact, and then how can businesses contribute to that as part of their social value investments as well? Rosie, I'd love to hear from you again.
I used to be over on the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Board for Oggy. And we used to, try to do a lot about well-being. Some of those things meant doing things like becoming a mental health first aider, which, funny enough, that links to the St. John's Ambulance, because that's where we did our training at one in Cardiff. There's all sorts. You can even do things. I set up a program called Time to Talk, which was, funny enough, set up on Blue Monday, because it's meant to be supposedly the most depressing day of the year. And it was just an opportunity for people to come forward, talk absolutely about anything. Doesn't need to be what is all these things going on at the moment that's bringing you down. It's just come talk to a happy, smiling person. It's good just to get that social aspect going.
Thank you so much. Yeah, some really great thoughts shared. And Sarah, lovely to see you.
Hiya. I just mentioned in our workshop about becoming tourism ambassadors. So there's an Ambassador Wales platform where there's a variety of different local authorities on the platform, Carmarthenshire being one of them. And you can help one another by signing up to become a tourism ambassador and working your way through the modules. There's gold, silver and bronze modules you can apply to on a variety of different topics, and you're awarded with certificates, and each county has different things. Carmarthenshire has a window sticker to display in businesses, but great way to help one another to increase spend, spread and seasonality, and learn more about what the counties have to offer.
Great to hear about that. Yeah, I hadn't come across that. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, and lovely to think about those different opportunities for getting involved and giving back where you are and being an ambassador for where you live. So we're having a general conversation about all the different ways that businesses and people and communities are giving back and can make a positive impact. It's a kind of open mic session for any local or regional groups or organisations to take a little bit of spotlight and tell us what you're up to. I know there are some inspiring projects and organisations on the call, so feel free to raise your hands and come in with an update on your organisation or how you would like people to give back at this time of year to make a positive difference in communities. One of the projects that we run here for the region is a relatively new regional charity called the Swansea Bay Foundation, which is a charity that is supported by successful businesses and gives small grants and donations to grassroots charities and organisations. And it's particularly active in Swansea and increasingly Neath Talbot, but it is a regional charity with aspirations to bring donations from businesses from across South West Wales into a charitable funding pot that can then be distributed to hardworking volunteers and their organisations across our region. And the intention in setting it up was to provide a way for those charities that don't have the resources to apply for big grants. Really, the passion behind the new charity is to help those groups and organisations that don't already have someone paid to apply for grants, and those kind of big charities that have a whole fundraising strategy, but the businesses involved were really keen to help those grassroots, hardworking organisations that need the support. So it's hopefully another example of where local supporting local, and where we can build those relationships between organisations at a grassroots level. It's really amazing how a small donation to a community group or organisation can make a huge difference. We recently supported a new choir to establish itself in Clydach. Male voice choirs are declining across Wales apparently, but it's quite unusual for a community to start a new choir. And it's a really inspiring example of where, starting a choir is bringing people out from their homes post-COVID, people who hadn't come back out, and creating an opportunity for people to sing together. And it's just a lovely, heartwarming story, but one of many. And lots of those projects are featured on that website. Kitty, I can see your hand up.
Thank you, Dawn. You've just reminded me so many kind of local things you go to, which talks about volunteering and healthy projects involve choirs and singing. Sadly, I can't sing a note, but it's really good. I think ITV featured the Choirs for Good that sings at Haverhub yesterday on the news. I missed it, but it's just got together people very informally, and I think a real good mix of people. So and Rosie's point earlier about just setting up that initiative where people can just ring up and talk to someone happy. Maybe there's just some simple ideas that could be just shared across communities, like singing and talking and just having just essential points.
And we saw loads of really great initiatives start up during COVID to offer that kind of mutual support, and I wonder to what extent lots of those are still going, or whether when everyone got really busy again, it's hard to sustain. But yeah, it's finding opportunities to bring people together locally, I think, isn't it? Singing, eating, and talking, all those things are great ways to connect. Anyone else like to share anything? Catherine, I can see you there with your hand up, and then Amanda.
Hi Dawn. We have received another load of funding from the Shared Prosperity Fund at Plantasia Tropical Zoo. So we will be running another 5 of our really popular Silver Safari and Garden Adventure tours for the over 50s, which are free of charge. And the whole idea behind it really is, as I mentioned, to kind of really bring people together. It's a really relaxed environment to meet new people, socialize and share the same experience really. And you're getting a guided tour of the zoo with one of our zookeepers and one of our garden experts, and it's just a and a cup of tea and a biscuit at the end, and it's a really nice opportunity for the over 50s to get out and have somewhere to, like I said, to meet new people and experience something new. So I am working on that online this afternoon once I get off here. So it's not currently on the website at the moment, but it will appear on our What's On page.
If groups are coming from further afield and want to go to Plantasia's Silver Safari, our community rail partnership might be able to help with getting you there.
Perfect. Yeah, no, they've been fantastic, and I think we've had about 2 groups already.
So Zoe and Catherine are talking about South West Wales Connected, which is the community rail partnership that one of our projects is taking groups from across the region on the train on a purposeful journey. And Plantasia is a fantastic destination for that sort of thing. But yes, if you know of community groups that would like to take up that offer that Catherine has put forward there, but also the offer from South West Wales Connected to take a purposeful journey by rail out and about across our region. We'd love to put you in touch with Eve, set that up. It's a great way to build people's confidence to travel, but also to highlight where you can get to by train and support some of the fantastic regional destinations that we've got. Thanks for sharing your ideas and updates on the topic of giving back. It's also a time of year when we look back on a year of what we've achieved and what we've done, and take a little moment to reflect on where we are now and think ahead to 2025. So I think it's always really valuable to take a moment at this time of year to figure out where we're going in 2025. But I'll also share a little reflection from a For the Region perspective on where we are currently standing, and as we look back over 2024, an array of events and initiatives that we're really proud to have delivered. It's been a really busy time. When we set out in January, we said that this was to be the year of opportunities, and that theme has definitely kept us busy at For the Region throughout the year. We've been out and about trying to connect and encourage the collaboration of groups, businesses, organisations and people right across our region, with a calendar of inclusive and welcoming and hopefully insightful and enjoyable events, a big calendar of in-person meetups and of course online meetups, bringing people together in a variety of different ways. What we're really proud to have been able to do in 2024 was to hold really well attended discussion forums in all 4 counties of our region, under our It's Your Pembrokeshire, It's Your Carmarthenshire, It's Your Neath Talbot banner. And you know that we've been running It's Your Swansea for a long time already, but really great to get out and about across the region and have those county-wide conversations. And the number of opportunities that emerge through those discussions has been really, really valuable. It was mentioned earlier on the call that when you bring a sort of cross-sector mix of people and organisations together, you never know who's in the room, you never know what conversations get started. And so a huge thank you to all of our partners in the various corners of South West Wales who've helped us to make those events happen and who've supported those meetings this year. And, you know, we often reflect on that being one of the really important ways that anyone in our region can give back and to contribute something to South West Wales, is just to be part of the conversation, to come and talk about what you're doing, to share what you're up to. It's not about self-promotion, it's about highlighting the opportunities that do exist. We're really passionate that people living across our region need to hear more about the employment opportunities that exist, business opportunities that exist, also, of course, the organisations and groups and projects that are happening on their doorstep that they can get involved with, or that they can be inspired by, or that can help people to think, oh, maybe I can do something similar. So we feel that a valuable contribution we can all make from our own organisations is never to try and do anything in a silo, but to always take the opportunities to come and share what you're working on, because you never know who might be listening and the value that you could add to them, let alone the connections that you could make through just talking about what you're doing. So in some ways that's just really core to what we do, that we can we would get frustrated when we hear about great stuff happening behind closed doors and no one knows about it, and we get frustrated with organizations that aren't forthcoming and coming out and breaking down those silos and talking about what they're up to. So it's been a fantastic year for that, holding those meetings and events in the 4 counties of our region have not only helped to grow our network for the benefit of all, but also to connect organisations, businesses and people in local areas. And sometimes we don't get to hear about the outcomes of those discussions, and sometimes we do, and sometimes they turn into projects and initiatives. For example, in Pembrokeshire, we're really delighted to be kicking off a project in partnership with Bluestone and the Milford Haven Port Authority, and a number of anchor organisations and businesses in the county around decarbonisation, forming a decarbonisation partnership and an alliance of Buyers in Pembrokeshire, which is all about strengthening the local supply chain, getting smaller businesses up to speed on requirements and best practice around reporting on your decarbonisation journey. And hopefully that will grow into an even bigger and better project in the year ahead. But it's an outcome of an event that we ran and a conversation that happened, and really delighted to be taking that forward. And in Carmarthenshire, we were in Parker Scarlett's for It's Your Carmarthenshire in July. And we were really grateful to have so much support from local businesses and from Carmarthenshire Council. And we heard from school groups who are taking the opportunity to go out and visit wind farms and other renewable energy sites across Carmarthenshire. And it was really great to hear from those children about what they're learning about future careers in that sector, and the skills that will be needed for our green energy and green economy transition. And so that was really inspiring. And the kids also benefited from chatting to businesses in the room, and hearing from the council and the leader of the council about what was happening. So looking forward to reconvening that thing again in 2025. And yeah, so many things, but we also were really delighted to be in Neath for Talbot in September for our community discussion forum. And the particular talking point really, and the huge opportunities that exist around floating offshore wind, the redevelopment of the port, the Celtic Freeport, and what is hoped to be huge impact for skills and jobs and renewable energy in our region. And just recently, the Celtic Freeport has been confirmed, so that's moving on to the next level. Really exciting times for them, and hopefully able to work really closely with us over the next few years to ensure that the social value that is derived from those huge investments in floating offshore wind manufacturing in our region translates into long-lasting legacy and benefits for jobs, for communities, for community wealth building as well. But we also ran the Green Economy Conference just last month in November, which brought together so many different aspects, large and small, of the region's green economy and sustainability movement. And as has already been mentioned today, the real importance for us is around bringing the different sectors together. So it's as much about talking about local food and community growing as it is about talking about huge investments in floating offshore wind and renewable energy and everything in between, the things that businesses are doing to work in a more sustainable way, and the opportunities for those of us that have the resources to make more ethical and sustainable choices in our daily lives. All of that came together at Swansea Arena at the Green Economy Conference, and we were really delighted again for all of your support in making that event such a success. We're lining up a full calendar of events in the year ahead. We're going to be running a startup expo for anyone in South West Wales interested in starting a business, bringing together the whole ecosystem around business support from across the 4 counties into a big event in Swansea Arena on the 5th of March. And we ran that last year with a number of local partners, and it was really well attended, and we brought together so many entrepreneurs to have workshops and inspiring talks from business owners, and to hear from other startups about their own journeys, and for a networking opportunity, have some important panel discussions around what's happening and what more is needed to capitalise on the opportunities. If you haven't been to Swansea recently, it's fair to say the skyline is changing, and so many new developments over the last few years have attracted a lot of investment, both public sector and private sector investment into Swansea. So there is a good news story happening, and there's also lots happening on the ground. Shared prosperity funding has enabled Swansea to create a more support around the creative network the creative industries. There's quite a lot of exciting stuff happening. Pop-up Wales are filling quite a few of the empty units with interesting small and independent businesses. What are you looking forward to in 2025? What's your word of the year? And if you've got any advice for us, what should our word of the year be in the year ahead?
I'd probably say the last few years have been challenging for a multitude of reasons. So I think my focus for next year, and the word I'd like to go with, is developing. So looking, to the future and developing myself. So learning new skills, improving on me, and going on more courses and things like that.
So 2025, my focus will be on community, because I think with Foothold, mainly the trouble has been the past years that we've been struggling to get events out, say in like town, in Swansea, Carmarthen. So I think looking forward to 2025, I think is more collaborations with people.
Thank you for sharing. Vicky, what are you thinking about for the year ahead?
Well, build community power responsibly with unity.
I think the word I was thinking, because obviously my role is in marketing, is bringing togetherness through absolutely everything that we do.
My word for 2025, I wrote down as more. So that more can go with, all the big words that have been mentioned. We just need to do more.
We need more of it. More developing, more community, more togetherness, more opportunities. Thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for your continued support and partnership. Please keep us connected into your conversations and keep coming and telling us what you're up to so that we can help to join those dots. And in the meantime, have a restful holiday season. Try and stop working and spend time with those you love and care about, and look after yourself. Find some time for some self-care and some downtime, and take a breath before we go again in January 2025. Thanks all. Lovely
Merry
to see you.
Christmas, everyone.
Happy
Christmas.
Christmas.
Oh, bye.
Bye for now.